We want a sense of progress, right? We want to measure ourselves. I've made progress. You're never sure, am I going, am I swimming upstream? What am I doing?
You know, in the book, Walking the Tightrope of an Illusion.
That's your book.
Yes. That particular question came up about progress.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher at that point in time said, why do we need to make progress?
Mm-hmm.
What is the point of progress? I mean, it's relative. What one person calls progress, another person say that's not progress at all. So it depends on, you know, how you look at it.
But I have this fear that I'm not, where am I going? Am I going in the direction I'm supposed to be going in? Am I
Yeah,
advancing in some way because I'm afraid
Yeah.
I'm standing still, or I'm dissolving?
Yeah, but suppose the teacher says, you know, you are making great progress.
Right.
Now
That
you
would
feel
make me
good.
feel good.
Yes. Now the teacher says, you know, you haven't made progress at all. In fact, you're going backwards.
I say, this teacher's not for me.
Exactly. Then you would go get another teacher who
Right.
tells you you're making progress
Right.
until that teacher says
Right.
you're not making progress, and you keep going from teacher to teacher to teacher. But the real problem is you.
Why am I the problem?
Because you're concerned with progress rather than the recognition of now. And it's always the recognition of now and a sense of fun and play, to put it simply.
So I shouldn't be worried.
You can be worried if you wish.
Thank you.
I have a feeling you enjoy being worried. But
No, but the flip side of that is that the student, the acting student, reaches a point of being, I think you've said this before, you reach a point, you've made progress, or maybe you see that they've made progress, and then there's kind of they stall, or they go backwards, or they have something, they reach a block and they can't progress. What is that?
I have noticed that block. And the interesting thing is almost always where the student is blocked in their work is almost always where they're blocked in life in terms of their own personal problems in life.
Can you give me an example?
Someone is afraid to love,
Mm-hmm.
and they've intellectualized everything. They're living within the framework of concepts and ideas of who they think they are. And then they're on stage, and they're still afraid to let go of the concept that they have of themselves. And that's exactly the problem that they're having in life. They want freedom, but there's a fear of moving into the unknown. And they're saying, how do I do that? But once you give them a how to do it, it's just keeping the fear there, because the one who wants to know how to do it is still fearful. Now I do this, and it's a form of avoidance of the real problem. And it's not easy. It's not easy by any stretch. And it's very complex. But I have noticed, and it may sound like an oversimplification, I have noticed that when you're having fun and you just don't care, you're carefree, it happens. It happens because you're not in control.
So it just untangles itself.
Yeah, and then that whole concern about progress and how am I doing, and in life, if you can enjoy the moment and live the moment, you're free. But almost always, what I've noticed after a while, the difficulty the actor's having in their work is somehow connected with the problem, with what goes on in their personal life.
That seems so odd, because you think, oh, they make some progress and then they're feeling great and oh, terrific. Would they just go on from there? Why would they fall into a rut?
I think of myself as a very nice guy, and I don't want to see all of the horrible things about myself that also exist, and they have to exist because I've interfaced with society. Society is mad,
Right.
completely, and I'm a product of society. I have to understand that without value judging it.
I'm being the actor in this case. Can't look at these things.
Right. Yeah, and how are you going to do that? How are you going to look when it means you have to acknowledge what are considered negative things without value judging it. It's a fact. I'm violent, that is a fact. And everybody on this planet is violent. Some are overt and some it's much more subtle. I want to compete with you. That's a form of violence. And I'm a little kid. I'm in class and I want to run faster than you and I want to compete. And I hope you trip and I can beat you in the potato race or whatever it is.
But you think in an acting class they say everything is sanctioned, everything's okay, meaning everything's okay, just let it out there. You scream, you cry, you can look at anything because it's all accepted in the context of an acting class.
Yeah, but it's there to serve the art form of acting. not to indulge yourself and be self-serving.
But why would someone become closed up or unable to look at stuff in an acting
Oh,
class?
not just an anger, fear. I have an image of myself, and you come along and tell me that my image is a lot of baloney. And I go, no, what do you mean? And then I run away from the acting class. I run away. Or in a relationship, I run away. You know, when the going gets tough, people run away. And what I have noticed is the real breakthroughs are when the actor's really at that point and can be very tenacious and just stay in there. And then there's that breakthrough.
What's the point? The point is the point
The
where
point when they're ready to
or
run. The point when they're ready to run away, instead of running away, just stay in there. I think it was Marlon who was saying, you know, you get knocked down on the canvas. Every time you get up, you get stronger. And, you know, and it's to get up and stay in the fight, stay in there, and be tenacious about it, not run away. Going gets tough, okay, beautiful. And that means I'm getting close to something.
Does Michael Beckett have an image of Michael Beckett?
Of course Michael
What is
Beckett
that
has an
image?
image of. Oh, God. That he's versatile, that he has no image of himself. That's part of the image, you know.
It's very sad.
Well, I don't know. All right, whatever you want to call it.
There is, I think, maybe in the book there's a saying about, by Herbert Berghoff, that you have to be able to have an ego and you have to be able to lose it.
Yeah.
Lose the ego. What,
Like your
what is
clothing,
that? How
well,
do you,
your clothing is your ego. You can take your clothing off, or you can wear it. There's a time to have ego. There's nothing wrong. Ego, in fact, in the scene, I have to have a lot of ego. My character has a real strong sense of what he wants, why he wants it, what's important to him, and behind that, I'm lending my body, my mind, my voice, my everything to this person who wants these things, knowing full well that it's all behind it, that it's all make believe. But I'm serious about this, so I'm pursuing it.
And so there's an equivalent to that in where you strip off the ego in some.
Well, it's simultaneous, like watching the movie and the screen is there and the illusion is being played on the screen. Both are existing simultaneously. I can have ego and no ego simultaneously. It is possible. Look,
So that is very versatile.
well, you're in a scene and you're crying hysterically because your lover is leaving you and you're pleading and begging. You know you're acting, you know, and then the show is over, you come out for your curtain call. And then, you know, people applaud you for, you know, living out this whole experience. But while you're doing it, you certainly know you're acting. In fact, if you don't know you're acting, you should definitely not go into acting.
Right.
Acting is like experiencing it like it's real, not that it's actual. You're going to play somebody who's drunk. You don't actually drink alcohol and come into the scene drunk. That's an actuality. That's not acting.
No, but there has been a lot of stuff of recalled memory and ways to put yourself almost physically into some prior state.
No, it's to extract the action, and that was a big misconception a lot of times in the 60s. The point of connecting with personal things is not to get the emotion, it's to understand the drive and the motivation.
But I think actors like it. I think it's sort of seems sexy or exciting when you're going to put yourself into a state where you're almost back in a psychotic state of
No.
grief or something.
To play somebody who's psychotic, you have to be very healthy psychologically. You have to be. If you are actually psychotic, playing psychotic, it won't work. You're going to play someone who's very illogical. You have to be so incredibly logical about the nature of that person's illogic so the audience can follow the nature of the illogic. I can't be illogical because my character's illogical. That's just a cop-out. It shows a lack of understanding, a lack of art.